Okay, imagine this. Kampala, 29th of January, 1986. The air still smells of gunpowder and hope. For 5 brutal years, the city has been a graveyard of regimes. Milton Obote. Ildi administrator's ghost still laughing in the shadows. Tito Okello's junta crumbling like dry clay under rebel boots. Then silence falls over a Parliament Hill, and a 41-year-old guerrilla commander steps forward. Dust from the Bush War still on his boots. Band-aid on his finger covering the wounds. A simple green olive uniform, no medals, no crown. Just a voice that sounds like thunder, wrapped in scripture. Yoweri Kaguta Museveni raises his right hand and swears an oath that will either save Uganda or damn it for another half a century. And when he opens his mouth, he doesn't speak like a man who's just won a war. He speaks like a prophet who has just stolen fire from the gods. Listen to the first 60 seconds of that speech, because in those 60 seconds, he does something almost impossible. He buries the entire rotten past and resurrects an entire nation in the same breath. He says it's calm as a sergeant, lethal and sniper. He says the people of Uganda have been denied democracy for centuries, and this is not a mere change of the guard. This is a fundamental change. And the crowd explodes because they know what he just did. He just drew a line in blood and dust and said, everything before me was death. Everything after me will be life. He calls Africa's children highly intelligent. He spits on tribalism like it's poison, and he promises roads, medicine, schools, not as a charity, but as the spoils of a revolution that finally asked the people what they wanted instead of telling them what to die for. In that moment, under a scorching equatorial sun, a new scripture is being written in the real time. And the congregation is not just the thousands in front of him. It is the entire wounded continent listening through the crackling radios. That day, a guerrilla became a statesman, a rebel became a ruler, and a country on its knees was told for the first time in decades to stand the hell up. This day, in this moment, was like Burkina Faso's Ibrahim Traore on steroids. It was like the Nelson Mandela times 10. And Museveni has held on to that moment without letting go because he knows how fragile democracy can be. So buckle up, because what happens in the next 39 years will either prove that the speech was the greatest promise ever kept, or the most seductive lie ever told to a desperate people. Either way, it starts right here with these words, on this day, in this fire. Let's go back to that exact moment the future of Uganda was hijacked by hope. Word for word. Line by blazing line. Roll the tape.
I, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, do solemnly swear that I will well and truly exercise the functions of the High Office of the President of the Republic of Uganda, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Republic of Uganda, and that I will preserve and defend the Constitution, and that I will do right to all manner of people according to the law established, without fear or favor, affection or ill will, so help me God. Yoweri Museveni, swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Republic of Uganda, and that I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution. So help me God. I don't want to say much today, except to make a few points. One, nobody should think that what is happening today, what has been happening in the last few days, is a mere change of guards. This is not a mere change of guards. I think this is a fundamental change in the politics of our country. Because in Africa we have seen so much change that change has become meaningless. It's no longer change but merely turmoil. This group getting rid of that group and that group doing worse than the group it got rid of. Now, please do not count us in that category of people. The National Resistance Movement, I think, is a clear-headed movement with clear objectives and with good membership. Of course, we may have some burdens even among us because we are part and parcel of the society of Uganda as it is. And in that way, you may not be able to completely guard against infiltration by the wrong elements. But since it is the deliberate policy of our movement to ensure that we uplift the quality of the politics of our country, I think it makes a very big difference from the situation in which we were, where the very people in power were they themselves encouraging evil instead of trying to combat evil. I think this is a slightly different situation. You may not be familiar with our problem because it has been mainly in the bush where many of you did not have access. And I cannot go through it in this ceremony, but I can just point out a few salient points in our program. Point number one on our program is the restoration of democracy. The people of Africa, the people of Uganda are entitled to democratic government. It is not a favor from any regime. It is the right of the people of Africa to have democratic governments all over the place. The people should be able to hire and fire any government. The sovereign people in the land must be the population, not the government. The government should not be the masters, but the servants of the population. And in our liberated zones, the first thing we start with is the election of the village committees. Because my mother cannot go to parliament, but sure she can be a member of the committee, so that she can also make her use hard. So we start with the village committees wherever we are, and these village committees, Miruka committees, Gombora committees up to the district, and then later on, of course, up to the national institutions like parliament. These committees right now, in our zones which we control, have got a lot of power. For instance, you cannot join the army or the police in our case we didn't have the police, but we had the army. You could not join the army, you could not join the National Resistance Army without being cleared by the village committee. You must get a recommendation from the people in your village that you are not a rogue for you to qualify to be considered to join the national army. So even our soldiers who we have, or those who are joining us from other armies, we shall have to refer them back to the village. 10,000 youth want to join the army. But anybody to be considered must first of all be cleared by the Miruka and Gombora committees that so and so's son is not a rogue, he does not steal chicken from the village, he does not abuse people, he does not stone passers-by. Then if they clear, suppose 1,500 in Rakai district for instance, they will clear for instance 5,000 out of the 10,000 who were aspiring to join the army. Then the military team comes and makes this 5,000 run up and down, and then they choose the fittest from a physical point of view out of the 5,000 who had already been cleared by the village committees that they are good people as people. But if you may come in an area and you say, gentlemen, you run up and down, and you say the one who runs fastest, and that one will be the one to join the army, as long as it happens, the thieves will be the fastest. We have been exercising. And the army will be full of will be full of condos. And not only condos, because running fast, you can run fast while you are advancing or withdrawing. So running fast cannot be a criteria. What is the criteria is the character of somebody. That must be the best criteria. Somebody's character, is he a good character or is he a bad character? And that can only be decided by the people who live with you. In this case, the village committees. So I was just putting this to show you some work that could be done by the village committees. Another work of the village committees will be to be citizens' intelligence. We are tired of this state intelligence because they are not what? The state research, the State Research Bureau and the National Security, I don't know what, and this and that. And that's this is not what. But these committees, we have been using them in Bulemezi as citizens' intelligence. Because what happens is that if I come to address a rally in Semuto, for instance, or Kapeka, or Nakaseka, the first people I meet are the village, are the committees, the Miruka committee, the Gombora committees. We even had zonal committees, which meant a combination of Gomboras in one zone. Like for instance, the Gomboras of Gombe, Nimbwa, this Wakiso, Mende, we are one zone. We used to call it task force zone, because we had our units there called task force. Now if you come and you meet the committees in that area, they will tell you everything that is going wrong in those areas. They will tell you that the Muka chiefs are thieves, so you will know it. They will tell you that the people in the hospitals are selling drugs, so you will know it. They will tell you that the soldiers are misbehaving, and you ask them who misbehaved. They will tell you so and so, and you arrest him. So that they will be able to be sort of a watchdog for the population against the misusers of authority. So, on top of these committees, of course, eventually we are going to have parliamentary elections, so that we can have a parliament which is directly elected by the people. So that we shall have a combination of both the committee democracy as well as the parliamentary democracy, as we have been having in and this business. We don't want to elect you and then you go and you change sides when we are going to the parliament. You see? If you want to change sides, then you must go back and consult the people who elected you. That's the thing. So anyway, these are for the future. As of now, what I want you to know is that point number one on our political program is democracy for the people of Uganda, to which they are entitled, which is a birthright, and it's not a matter of a gift from any regime. It is a birthright. The second point of our program is security of person and property. Every person in Uganda must be absolutely secure to live wherever he wants. without mercy. The people of Uganda should only die from natural causes which are beyond our control, but not from fellow human beings who continue to walk the length and breadth of our land. Therefore, for us, we were in Nairobi for the peace talks. That thing was just very painful because I was sitting there with the criminals across the table. And I was being advised that you see, if to be a leader, you must be diplomatic. Then I said, but diplomacy, does it also apply to criminals? They said, yes. So for me, I saw that it was just a farce. What was going on there was a farce. So we just kept quiet and said, okay, we tried to push our case peacefully to say that the Armenian elements must be excluded from the government, that the people like Basil who killed people who were all seen should be excluded. But our voice was a lonely voice because there were so many pressures from the international community which is only interested in trade. The international community does not care about how many skeletons we have here in Uganda. What they care about is for the road to be open so that communities can pass regardless of how many skeletons remain behind. So we just kept quiet, but we made our position very, very clear that we are not going to take part in any government in which criminals are involved. Then they thought they were playing just tricks. Even the Okello said, he came here and told the people that by me signing the agreement, they had removed the teeth from the Saramba. Can you imagine the idiot saying, having the guts to say something like that? But anyway, for us, we were not bad students. If you try to play tricks with us, we play tricks with you. If you are honest with us, we are honest with you. If you are violent with us, we are violent with you. So we are people who pay people in their own currency. Whatever currency you want with the national resistance movement, we shall pay you exact amount. What you require. You see? That's why we never use cowardly tactics. I had a lot of pressure when we were in the bush by people saying that we should assassinate Obote, we should assassinate Mwanga, we should assassinate Basil. I said, why do you assassinate these fellows? By assassinating them, we are saving them. Because they will die maybe as heroes somehow to some people. Just develop enough strength and sweep the garbage to the dung heap of history and proceed on the correct path of history. Why do you bother by killing the small fellows like Basilio? Because if you kill Basilio, there are other Basilios who are also there. So the solution is to have enough strength to sweep the whole garbage and put it to bronze on the dung heap of history. But coming back to the question of security, again, the security of the people of Uganda is their right. It's not a favor from any regime. No regime has got a right to kill any citizen of Uganda. No regime has got a right to beat a citizen of Uganda on any roadblock. Our soldiers, we are training our soldiers that to abuse only, if you only abuse a citizen and get hold of you, you are a soldier. You are battles, you know what it means by the spirit. Yes. As for the killing, this is absolutely out. You kill a citizen, we kill you. And in this struggle, we were in the bush, we executed 5 soldiers of the National Resistance Army who killed the citizens in Wenesli or in Goma, or I think there was one in Fort Portal. There's somebody who killed himself. He's the
this the wananchi. They have got their own message in the which they use to do problems. I don't know how effective it is, but the man thinks it himself, so that is his business. But this man had money, he had money, and one of our soldiers conspired with the Malaya to kill that man and take the money. This was in Goma sub-county. Then this man was killed, and of course we got the information because we were with the people. We got the information that one of our soldiers had killed the Mwananchi himself because he wanted to take the money. Okay. Then there were 2 or 3 other incidents like that. But what has been happening in Kampala? The other time, they massacred people in Luwero, and the government, high-powered government delegation was there. This high-powered delegation, and excellencies, and how do you say excellencies? They don't like this business of excellencies. People when they put in you, they say I'm Muslim. I'm Muslim for cars, I'm Muslim for only. Now these excellencies and these honorable ministers and these high-ranking military personnel, and I don't know what other high-ranking hopelessness, they went there to Luwero, and what did they do? We were told that they had transferred the person who had kept people in Luwero to another station. Yeah? Can you imagine? Somebody kills 100 people, somebody kills 50 people, even if you kill 2 people, and you say you have transferred him to where? To where? So the other time when they were saying that the solution of the army was to demilitarize Kampala, you know, there was such a talk that soldiers should be removed from Kampala and be taken away. I asked them, why are you going to take them? Because whenever you take them, they are human beings. If you take them to the national park, they will kill animals. So why are you going to take them? The solution is to put them where they belong, in the prison. So you cannot say someone has killed people here and you transfer him to another station. Killing human beings for the National Resistance Army means that you are killing yourself. If it can be proved that you did it intentionally or with criminal negligence. If it was accidental, then that's a different matter. You can examine that, but that's for the court, not for us. So our program demands complete security of person and also complete security of property. The property of the individual must be separate. It must not be touched by any authority. The radio cassette, the bicycle, anything small, it belongs to that individual. And even if the individual makes a mistake, and for instance it's against the government or against the NRA, you have no right to take his property. Because the property is not the one who made a mistake. And the property does not belong to that individual, it belongs to the whole family. You can have an individual, you can have a bad head of family and have good members of the family. So that property must belong to them. So what has been happening in Kampala in the last few days, where some of the barriers have been trying to receive our soldiers and take them to people's homes and say that these were supporters of the previous government. So take their property. This thing must stop. Those are not organizing security in Kampala. And I'll lay my hands on those who are either misleading our soldiers and who are using this cover of change of government to loot other people's property. If somebody has made a mistake, he will be dealt with by the courts. The courts will deal with him. If he lost his property, will he take in the good person or what? What is the question that's there? Huh? So the property of individuals must be respected. Without security of person, without security of property. Now, coming to the third point, which I like to refer to, is the question of unity of Uganda. Because the past regimes have used sectarianism very much. They have used sectarianism to divide the people so that they can use them. If you see a leader who is dividing people, you should know that that leader is hopeless. Because division has never been strength. Division is always weakness. Now, if you say this one is it belongs to this religion, that one belongs to that tribe. What's wrong with belonging to a different religion? And how does religious matters become political matters? Religious matters are matters between yourself, you as an individual, and your creator, God. That's a matter between you and God. You are religious and your aspiration is to go to the life after here. Now, we in politics are talking about the life here. We are not talking about the life after. We are talking about roads. That's what politics is about, roads, water, drugs in the hospital, schools for children. That's what we are talking about in politics. So how do you now bring religion and mix it up with this business? Now, the road from here to Republic House, if a pregnant woman travels on that road, unfortunately, it is carried. Now, that road, whom does it harm Catholics only and forgive Protestants? That bad road there, is it bad for only Protestants and not for Catholics? Or for Muslims and not for Christians? Or for Achonis and not for Baganda? That road is bad. It is bad for everybody. Everybody who's using that road has got an interest in having it repaired. So therefore, all the road users of that road have got one common aspiration: to have the road repaired. Now, if they have got one common aspiration, then how do you become divided on the basis of religion or on the basis of tribe when your interests are similar? Don't you see that those fellows who tell you to be divided are those who want to use you for their own interests, not connected with that road? These are a bunch of opportunists who have no program, and the only program is to work on cheap platforms of division because they have nothing else to offer which is constructive for the whole population. For us, we believe that all the people of Uganda are good. There is no part of Uganda which is not good. Lake Katwe, we get salt from Lake Katwe. And nobody can say that salt is Chikonjo, we should not use it. Is that salt good? No, it's not good. The salt from Katwe, is it a good salt or bad? It's good. The electricity from Jinja, I think the electricity from Jinja is bad because it is so much. And how about the tobacco from West Nile? The tobacco from West Nile, is it not Anyanya? Don't you think it's a good idea that West Nile is cut off with the tobacco? And how about the cotton from Kitugum and Rango? Huh? And how about Karamoja? They have got, they submit there. They submit in Karamoja. So every part of Uganda is useful. Every people of Uganda are useful. Every people of Uganda are necessary. In fact, Uganda is actually very small, if you know. It's very small. It has got only a population of 15 million and has got only 93,000 square miles. If you compare this with the Soviet Union or Socialist republics, which occupies 1/6 of the human globe, or the United States of America, or Canada, or Brazil, or India, and yet some fools, Uganda is too big in their heads. And yet they are the same fellows who are gone groveling before the United States begging for handouts, or the Soviet Union, or wherever they go to beg. Why do you divide your own people here, and then you go to beg outsiders who are more organized than yourself? Because a big population, a big country, if you are an economist, a big population means a big market. You need a big market, and a big market means a big population. You need a variety of resources, and a variety of resources means as large an area as possible. So anybody who talks about the division of Uganda is actually an enemy of the people of Uganda, knowingly or unknowingly. For us, we preach the idea of unity of Uganda. We want people to be, we can have our different individualities, tribes, religion, but this must not be used in politics. Because politics is a different matter, and religion is a different matter, and the tribes are like, you said, this is Museveni, this one is, what's your name? What's your name? Ocho is Ocho. He's Museveni, I'm Museveni, he's Ocho, but we are, if it now rains, we shall have a common problem. We shall have a common problem. We need protection from the rain, all of us. So our individuality has nothing to do with the political programs of the country. Our religion has nothing to do with the political program of the country. Those are separate matters. Even the Bible guides us on this matter. It says, give unto Caesar those which are Caesar's, and give unto God those which are God's. That's what the Bible says. That's one point on our program, the question of the religion, and that's why we are strong. Our movement is strong because it has solved the question of unity among our people. We do not tolerate divisions within our movement of a tribal or religious nature, or these parties, DP, UPC, UPM, what? Everybody is welcome on an equal basis. That's why you find that when our army goes in Uganda here, the people of Uganda say, Amajiga Fe. When it goes into the west, they say Amagaitu. When it goes wherever it goes, it is their army, our army. In whatever language, it is our army. When they don't say our army, they say Abanawafe, our children. It is affectionate. The person who captured Burova the other day, the commander who was leading the group which attacked Burova, was an officer called Okecho. He's from West Nile, he's from Pakwach. So when I hear these idiots talking of the division between the north and the south, that division is in their heads, and those who are hoping to bank on it are going to be disappointed. I think they should dig a big enough grave for their aspirations. Okecho is the one who captured Burova. He's a boy from West Nile. Kerim is the one who captured Masini yesterday but one. He's a boy from West Nile. Dr. Bata here, Bata stand up. Where's Bata? Dr. Bata is from Madi. He has been our director of medical services for all these years in the bush. So those bankrupt elements who are just these fellows were using these tricks because there was no clear-headed leadership to sift through all these. This is what we call in philosophy obscurantism. Obscurantism is the phenomenon where social ideas are covered by false ideas. Reality is covered by falsehood. So that what is false appears to be true, and what is true appears to be false. Now, for us, we are very clear-headed. If you are dealing with us, you better be very careful. You better be very, very careful. Because we can cut through your obscurantist schemes and go to the heart of the matter, and in the end you will be in a very bad situation. Like they tried to use this business of Acholi and Rangi against us, trying to say that there is a division among between the Bantus and the Nilotics, and that if the Bantus take over, the Nilotics will be wiped out. And we exposed him because we would capture soldiers.
Now, this historical moment in time, this video was just stopped. It was all of the footage that we were able to retrieve. So we're sorry about the abrupt end of it. But still looking at that time and that moment that we have just watched, the great Museveni unveil a whole new Uganda and unveil a whole new message to the continent of Africa. What the world has seen through Museveni, who's getting ready to go on what seems to be his final term, is that the gem that they have managed to hold on to for so long hasn't changed. And many of those countries around Africa, around Uganda in Africa, are still trying to get to the point where Uganda has gotten. Uganda is slowly taken step by step by step, moving gradually into the future with stability and grounding, whereas other countries may have leaped a little bit too forward without recognizing the price that was paid for the sovereignty and the freedom that they've got. Museveni, however, he's a different breed, one which much of the world, not all, but much of the world really has come to respect and appreciate when Museveni walks into a summit around the world. Everybody knows. There he is. The great Museveni. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for watching. Please leave your comments below. We do read them, and God is good. May the Prince of Peace reign all over this country, all over the globe. In Jesus' name we pray. We will see you on the next one. One love.